Hello, everybody. Morning, 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 morning. Yeah, it's another one of those morning. All right, folks. Welcome to another episode of Let's Get Real. With, of course, as the name says, right there. Right, where is it? Right there. All right, so I hope each and every one of you had a good night's rest. Mine was short, though. I wish it was a little bit longer, but nevertheless, we're here, we're alive, so that's much to be thankful for. All right, so yesterday we had a pretty good show. Had some good numbers, people enjoyed it, and for a morning show when everybody's supposed to be at work, we had some pretty good numbers, and so I appreciate you guys, being on here. And so far, our discourse, they have been pretty good and pretty above board. We have not had any droppings of the fake profiles, and thank God for that, because as they come, I block them. If you ain't gonna conduct yourself properly on here, goodbye. We don't need you. We don't need that kind of politics around here. We stick into the facts, the issues, and the stats. All right. Again, let me give another plug here for those who are early for the census. I would appreciate it if everybody take part in the census. Offer the information up so that we can further hold our politicians accountable. When we have interactions with them, we can have interactions with them about the facts and the stats. At least those who are willing to have that conversation. Because what I've found is that the current crop of politicians that we have who are in power, when you ask a question of them with regard to their vision on how the development of St. Kitts and Nevis should be, and you bring issues to them, instead of saying, okay, fine, let's sit down, have a conversation, see how we can fix this, they go back and they scheme and they plot along with their people how to fix you. And we really and truly don't need that kind of politics anymore. We need politicians who will step to the plate and ask, just like Mr. Rohan Niles of the NRP, how can I help? How can I fix it? I was in a conversation with somebody, and they said to me that, when they go around their community and they do video footage of things that need to be fixed, whether it be a road, a school, overgrown hedges, whatever it is, and they post it to social media, that the politicians would, move to get it rectified. And the leader of that particular party said to his candidates and colleagues, man, you can't just move every time somebody put up something just so. I gotta get a while and then move. Bright people. Imagine your constituents have an issue with something. Somebody put it out on social media to get the government's attention. And the leader, I could take a wild guess as to who it is. The leader is going to say to the candidates, whether jokingly or seriously, man, you can't just move every time somebody posts something. You gotta get a while and then go do it. That's the mentality of the politicians we got around here. They ain't about service. They're about optics. I mean, really and truly, that's your mentality? Or I could take a wild guess in the comment section. Who that person they be? You hear? And these are the kind of things that we need to expose. Because look at what is happening now in our current situation. All kind of things coming out, leaks and so, about the doings of our politicians in politics along with their cohorts. Because they feel that you should not know certain things. They feel that certain information you should not know. And so now that they fall out, we're getting to see and hear all the inner workings of government, all the sweetheart deals, all the this and all the that. Boy, it's one big shit show. Nasty. Government stink like the solid waste dump by. But I want it to continue. You hear? I want people to continue to be brave, to speak up, to come out. Just like Mr. S. Dale, he tell them plain out, I am not joining this UDC board here. It's too damn toxic. We need more citizens to stand up to these politicians and their nasty shenanigans. As I understand it, because yesterday the DPP put out a press release stating that yes, a couple of people resigned from the office, but the majority is still there. 3 resigned. I'm guessing that the reason for them leaving is because they weren't getting good treatment. Yesterday we had a situation where a young man posted on his Facebook page about his experience coming back from university with a degree in chemistry and a degree in forensic science. The man was working in the crime unit in the office of the Prime Minister. On step, went to open a bank account. They asked him for a job letter. The police don't know what he talk about. And the police here work with. But luckily for him, he had to wait 2 years. He was appointed. And so his salary get bumped up. And this whole salary structure, this K35 and K this and K that and all these damn stupidness. Man, that shit need to change. So what you're supposed to do when you come back and you got your student loan to pay for and you want to start a life using the thing that you went to acquire. So getting a degree now is personal development. Personal development. This is the kind of mentality that we have here deep in our country. That's why you see we can't get the best people around here in certain positions. We got to end up with people like what we got for PSs and so. And directors. Where politicians just haul any old person from somewhere about the place with no kind of love for people and just chuck them in the civil service. And then they go in there and they got in there all messed up. Who's supposed to get appointed can't get appointed after years of working in there. Nobody want to move out anywhere because everybody just bad mind and greedy. And our best minds overseas are develop America, are develop England, are develop all over the world. We can't get them come here. And if you come here as a specialist and you want to serve your people, you have your credential, mind you, but you also have a personal and a political opinion. Guess what? You can't work here. So freedom of speech ain't available no more. Once the government is your employer, they hold fast to the shit that you can criticize your employer. So if you see shit going wrong inside here, don't say nothing. The general public ain't supposed to know. Keep it to yourself. When we gonna change the mentality? I am waiting for the politicians to come around to clean up the civil service. You can't tell me that right-thinking people bearing witness to all this garbage that goes on in our government and still talking about, oh, me's a PLP for life, me's a PAM for life. How are you that they say? Me's a CCM for life. How are you that they say? So I just want people who could talk nice, dress nice, and, give some rambunctious speech at a political rally. But when it comes to reality and putting policies and programs in place to better people's life and better the country, realistically, and not just words, I don't want them because what? They can't talk too good on a platform. They're not flowery and, exciting when they talk and all them kind of bullshit. But we had enough of that. We have had enough of politicians who could talk well, excite a crowd, dress well, lime, and then come to no work or do in a government. Because they're not about work. They're not about community service. They're not about people. We had enough of those flamboyant politicians who could speak well and can't do no damn work. Who just bad-minded, grudge, envious, toxic. We had enough of that. We had enough of that. Maynard Butters, yes, and saying Labour for life as well too. You think I'm fair to say Labour for life? You're probably just tuning into his show today, but everybody name is who they call. I just happen to mention those three because those three are who in government right now, holding on to the reins of government, and we can't see nothing for it. So yes, people will say them a Labour for life too. Because if Labour do damn well stupidness, if Labour politicians and candidates mix up in all kind of dirty behavior, how the hell you could talk about your Labour for life too? You feel better now, Miss Butters? You feel better now? You see, that'll be the problem with us. Once anybody says anything negative about the party that we love, we are triggered. But don't be triggered, Miss Butters. Look at the facts and look at the stats. You might love your politician, you might love your party, but if they don't love the country and don't love the people back, just because they have a difference of opinion, what does that say about you for keeping them in power? Some of us have families and our families don't see eye to eye politically. So you want to tell me that I am going to be a Labour, my party comes to power, and just because the other half of my family is PAM, they cannot enjoy the amenities that our country has to offer? Just because my family is PAM or PLP, they must get victimized by the same party that I claim to love? Well, not EK, because of abused ass. Not EK. But some of you know fully well that your party go after people, abuse people, victimize people, and I still love your party. You can't say nothing because if I say anything, you ask me for the chopping block too. Look at the politicians right now. They could behave rambunctious and arrogant because they know the supporters, ain't gonna check them for disrespecting other citizens. You hear what I tell you? Me not afraid to pick up the phone and tell none of the Labour candidates them. You just chat shit on the radio just now. That caller, you were being disrespectful to the caller. Me not afraid to pick up the phone and tell them so. Some of you cannot pick up the phone and tell your representative so. Otherwise, your ass is grass. So, Miss Butters, I apologize for triggering you for calling CCM name. But I would like to see you, as a right-thinking individual, open your eyes to the things that are going on in the country and have a different opinion. I would like to see you tell your politicians in Nevis that just because he can talk, nothing wrong with that. The Constitution gives me that right. And you can't turn around and say, well, I have the right to deny your job because you talk too. Tell them no. It can't work so. This is where I want our people to get to the stage too. The politicians do the shit that they do because they have the supporters that back them up with the garbage that they do and the garbage that they say. So you want to tell me that you're more a political party than you are a citizen of your country? That your party means more to you than your own citizens, than your country? We ain't all like everybody. And Lord knows human beings can't get along. But hey, your country must come first. Then how we must country above self. But these politicians ain't practicing that. Look at what is going on right now. You out of work with 2 years. Can't work because your government shut down your work because of a virus. And ain't make no provisions for you. But still collecting their salary. Some of them even 2. And every December they collect 4. And that they okay with you? And not even 4. Some of them collect 5. Because look at the honorarium. You just struggle to get your ass. And the people who put you through this shit and ain't make no provisions for you, who patting themselves on the back, turn around and give yourself another penny. 27,000. You understand? So let's talk. See, you're right. You love him bad. Love your party. Love your minister bad, no shit. Nothing wrong with that. Love him. But if you do shit, say you do shit. And if you can't see it, okay. Okay. But anyhow, I'm going to keep preaching some music while I wait. Would be nice, please and thanks. Sandra China, tell me when run my show. If you sit down and you wait and the show going a little too long, you got to turn on YouTube in the background as well. All right, so I'm hoping that we could get to that point. And there's a very pertinent question coming up here on the Facebook chat. This is why politicians continue every election cycle to speak and act the way they do. We enable them in every way, and we just attacking each other. Yes. When I said openly on the radio, Dr. Douglas, you get a lot of hits. You allow these people to drag your name through the mud, and you ain't fire back at them because that's not your metal. But at some point in time, you have to stand up and defend your name. And Dougie said, man, yeah, all right. And I was pissed at Dougie for not defending himself. All he said is that wait and now you're going to see who Timothy Harris really be. Pam and CCM take him up and fluff him up and noise him up and dust him off. Some kind of follow him. Look at every single individual who went with Timothy. All of them by the west side right now. He dismissed all of them because they dared. They dared to try to hold his feet to the fire and hold him responsible and accountable as a politician. We part to be by the west side. And I said openly, it is difficult to defend the Labour Party and defend certain actions and defend you when people were allowed. People were allowed. Hold on there, people. I'm talking to my guest there. Yeah, I have my guest this morning, Marcia Henderson. She's set and ready. So, yeah. So people were allowed to believe the things that Timothy come out and say about Douglas. Now look at Timothy. Acting like the same vagabond where he said Douglas was acting like, and he ain't want to come out. The NGOs yesterday asked him in no uncertain term, announce an election date. You fire 6 parliamentarians. You dissolve the parliament, and you're still in there running government like you have a mandate. And that's not how our government is set up and how our government should work. Yes, he has a minority government, and people saying the government illegal. The government ain't illegal. The Constitution provides for a minority government. But the right thing to do, the moral thing to do, is to get a mandate from the people. Because you were exalted to the position that you were in with the confidence of the 6 that you fired. And they have said they have no confidence in you. So just like how Douglas was being a vagabond, you're being a vagabond too. It's the same thing. So how come he good for you, but he ain't good for Douglas? And the people who were saying, jumping up with you and say, yeah, Douglas is a vagabond. They're now saying, oh no, we Prime Minister right. The 6 of them don't know what they're saying. The Prime Minister right. You're a goddamn hypocrite. Same knife stick, goat stick, sheep. I was one who was out there in the wilderness telling Douglas, you're taking too damn long to call the election, and it's going to backfire on you. People are going to get fed up. Because people like to know where they're going. And so said, so done. You know what Labour people were saying to me? Me no know where Labour. You can't be no way Labour because you're not back up Douglas. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Me not say nothing different to what I said then. Call the damn elections. Don't wait. Let it play out. The Constitution provides for these things. Let it play out. Call the motion. I was the only Labour person saying so. Call the motion. And Labour people had a problem with me. PAM people had a problem with me the same time too. Because everybody me in a jam. So nobody could have tell whether me a Labour, a PAM, a CCM, I ain't happy. Everybody me in a jam. Once everybody vex with you, you're doing something good. Trust me. But it is clear to see that Tim ain't ready to let go power and he ain't ready for the election. So he doing all these things. And you're frustrating the people, partner. Just like how Douglas frustrated the people back in 2014, 2013, 2014, 2015, are the same thing you're turning to do. And you're going to suffer the same fate. So all the shenanigans and all the things in where you're going with, partner, people going to get fed up of you. Just like how they got fed up of Douglas. And you say so when people say they don't want you and they really don't want you. A Lord, oh man, come out. Your own words. Yes, Caris. I remember when Caris Bewes hello to me. And I was saying, but why does me do Caris? Me only call the thing for what seed as. But I remember you put some word for me a time and you feel so bad. And you want to abuse you back, but you only love you bad. Me no bad abuse you. Because I say, eventually, you're going to see it. Caris tell them, me not say nothing different to what me always been saying. When I tell Douglas, okay, partner, just step away for a bit because every time you want to defend the Labour Party, and not even defend the Labour Party, every time you want to go after Team Unity, people like Sylvie and the rest of them and say, but look, Douglas still there. Look, this person still there. He's still around. But he didn't defend his name, and so the shit was allowed to fester. And so every time you point a finger at Timothy, the point went back at Dougie. So I was of the opinion, okay, Dougie, just step away. Because when I go after them, they're pointing back to you as a defense. Okay, take away that defense from them. And then let me jam their ass. Okay, Dougie, step down as the leader. We choose Drew. They still come with the same old stupid ass argument. Sean and Mark, as two leaders of two parties, is in no position. And the people who follow them is in no position whatsoever to come and talk now about how Douglas still in control of Labour. And let me tell you why they're in no position to say so. Because Mark, had 2 seats, then he get 3. Sean had 3, then he get 4. So between them, they had 7 seats, and they allow a man with only 1 goddamn seat to lead them to the gates of hell. Who the hell is them there to talk about? Douglas still a lead Labour. Who them they be? That is why I get so pissed every time I hear somebody bring up this damn stupid argument. But Douglas still there, Douglas still around, and if Labour win, Douglas gonna be the Prime Minister. So what? So what? Mark and Sean, as 2 leaders of 2 parties with more seats, allow Timothy Harris to lead them and wag them like 2 tail. And here where Mark said, when he objected and said, "Boy, no, we can't go back with Timothy again in 22," Sean, with his 4 seats, stood behind Timothy and allowed Timothy to wag them. So who the hell is them there? And who the hell is any PAM? Jupanta, whoever it is, to come and talk about how Dr. Joe and the way leader a Labour. Who the hell is them? Our party went through a grueling process. It even got to a point where we even got nasty. And it was out there in the public for everybody to see. Nobody was chosen or handpicked by any owners of any party. It's the people in the party voted for who they want as the leader. If you ask me, that's damn democratic. And this is what Labour people need to be telling these blasted people who come in and chatting shit. Oh, Douglas still there. Douglas still what? Oh, Joe ain't the real leader. Joe ain't what real leader. You don't know your goddamn place. Timothy, wag are you for 7 years? Now look how he got high like a set of papi show. Are you in no position to tell anybody anything about the leader of the party? Because you couldn't even lead your damn self. Or you couldn't even lead all yourself. Couldn't lead all yourself. The lack of leadership between the two of you put together. The two of you put together couldn't even make one to go with Timothy. And are your supporters and are you up and down to talk about Labour? Are you in no position to talk about Labour? Labour people get all your story straight when they come to you with this damn stupidness. Set them straight. They are in no position to tell anybody anything about the leader. Tim lead them there with only 2 seats for 7 years. He had 1 and he increased it to 2. He led them. Put them in the place. They said Jupan still pan radio abuse doggy till today. Take your motor for doggy. Sylvine calling yesterday about dog. Take your motor for doggy. Timothy with only 2 seats. A lead are you? And got you out here looking like a set of pussies gone to Duncan. You guys are in no moral position to talk about who a lead anybody. Sandy Point Pam Strong says Pam not talk about Labour. Of course. The very last town hall meeting, Sean was quoted as saying that Pam might have to come back home. Have to come back home because we cannot allow Labour to sneak in the back door. Your leader said it. The tape is there. Go back and listen. Jupan still pan the radio talk about Dougie and Labour. Sylvine still a calling a talk about Dougie and Labour. And Timothy leader you 7 years. Leader you know. Timothy literally got everybody confused. So much so, me good cousin, Ketty Dan, went in front of Pam Crowd last night, go talk about PLP massive wave your flag. You got this place so damn confused. Now Sandy point at Pam Strong and say, so Labour join with PLP? What if... What you hear Dr. Ju say? You see, this is the difference between our leader and our yours. What you hear Dr. Ju say? Dr. Ju came out early and said in no uncertain terms, he is willing to speak and talk with anybody, but the one person he's not willing to entertain at all whatsoever is Dr. Timothy Harris. Some might not agree with that notion because of how things might play out, and you may have to go back on your word and work with him. But this man is standing on principle. You are following Sean because he stood with principle in 2020 and give back Timothy the reins and then come out 2 years later and views. But you still a rally with Sean, ain't it? You still Pam Strong in Sandy Point, ain't it? Partner, your argument holds no water. Your argument holds no water. Drew come out early and said, not Timothy. Look what he do to Pam and look what he do to CCM. Look what he do to Sam, Dwyer, all of them. And your leader still held him up in high esteem and exalted him again for a second time. while he was standing on principle. Well, Jew say he now walk with him. That's the difference between your leader and the Labour Party's leader. You hear? Enough times we ask Mark Brantley, "Why we're going on in a unity?" And he couldn't answer. What you saying? Don't come here, my Lord, with respect. Do not come here with your shenanigans. They ain't gonna fly, my Lord. What's this? I can't get my room open. I'm trying to bring up my guest now. He ain't gonna fly. Crap. Or you can't get away with them kind of arguments here with me. And doctor say he ain't joining with Tim. He might have to go back on his word. He may have to. Given the dynamics of how things may work out, he may have to. That's why I tell you, some people did not agree with the statement coming that early. But it shows you the mettle of Dr. Joe. It shows you where his mind is. And he said it to me in no uncertain terms. And I'm sure if things were to change, he ain't going to go in a secret room and work out in a secret deal. He going to come back to the people and ask us if that's the difference between your leader and mine's. You hear? Palm strong, Sunny Point. The stories and the narratives I either come with from behind these fake profiles, they ain't holding no water. None at all. I might could get away with it with the unsuspecting on Facebook who just go with their emotions. Not with EK. Not with EK. The prophet of politics. He may have to. But I am sure that if he comes down to that, if he comes back to his people and say, well, look, this is the situation. I said what I said, but if you give me the mandate and say it is okay, yeah. He ain't gonna forego not talking to us and asking us a question. You're mad. We ain't gonna stand for that. Simone said, oh, you get up to the week before the shit hit the fan. Jonelle said team unity good. Yeah, all of them tell lie. They were lying to their teeth. You could have seen the lie and the shame. You could have seen. If all you think that Labour ain't learned from their experience in 2015 and 2020, I lie. So you don't worry about Labour. Worry about the fight in front of you. Worry about Timothy making all your two leaders look like Papi Show. Mark out, balling. And Shia, and Timothy, and Shia. I thought you said you was the sheriff and the kingmaker. So you only had strength with doggy. You only could abuse. But when time to buckle down and do some real work, some substantive work, to put Nevis on firm footing, no, you just want to come out here and abuse everybody. Abuse NRP. Abuse Labour. Abuse this person. Abuse that. Just abuse. That's all you're good for. Shut down word like a little girl. Well, I think it's so easy to amend the Constitution. Who said anything easy? But anything easy, anything will come easy, no good. Harry grandmother always tell Harry, so you go walk. It was a battle to take down Douglas, but now the battle done. The real work begin. Which is to get the Constitution right. So it doesn't matter who comes after Timothy. Nevis will be safe and sound. Guided and guarded by the Constitution. That would have been your legacy, Mark Brantley. You would have been forever etched in our history as one of the greatest politicians. And if you had gotten that piece of legislation through, at some point in time, you could have been a national hero just like Sim Daniel, because that's what Sim Daniel did. Sim Daniel came down to St. Kitts and he made sure that a whole section in the Constitution was carved out for Nevis. You guys were supposed to build on that. But are your divisive politics, are your rah-rah politics, and the mediocre politics that are your give people, can't see you doing that, Rasta. You hear? You were supposed to come and work feverishly, and I'm telling you with no what butters, you would have want to know if me more CCM than you. Because all the time we ask Mark, what go on in there? He not say nothing. This is the best, with no water in my mouth, this is the best relationship this has ever been between St. Kitts and Nevis. No, he fully really damn well lie. And if he ain't lie, what was so good about the relationship? Now the 400 million, but you don't ask about that. The best time St. Kitts and Nevis ever had was the $4 million that you got over 7 years. But don't ask about the 4 million. Let me stick to the fair share. You can't tell people what to stick to the man. You can't dictate the argument. But you see, then again, remember when you first come back here from law school, you decide that you not do them kind of them kind of poor people case, you know. You want big money, liar money. You understand? You can't take them kind of penny heap me work there defending people in court and all them kind of stupidness there. So maybe a long time you're not going to court to show. But you can't dictate the argument in court. All the facts have to come to bear. You know this. But you want to come in politics and dictate what the conversation should be. How? How? Partner, no. No so life go. Okay. I was getting some information from the team of my guests this morning. I'm ready for my guests when they are ready, you know. So, let me continue. And so, this is where we are. Just because we are not going hard, so to speak, on Timothy, means that we join with him. You must be mad. For 7 long years, not even 7 years, any party better than PLP. PLP is the enemy of all parties, including his own party. So we're joining together to keep him out, if that's what it takes. What you say, EK? I know you could reason. Pam Strong, let me tell you something. From very early when the shit hit the fan, I said in no uncertain terms that the kind of politics that Timothy practices behind the scenes is not the type of politics that we need in our country. Timothy is the king of transactional politics. And he will do any and everything to maintain his power. That's not the kind of politicians we need at this time in our history. We've had enough of that. So if he bad mind Labour, he bad mind PAM, he bad mind CCM, and now he wants to exalt himself as the only party that is in team unity, how the hell you want to be a team? How the hell you want to be a team? What PAM should have done, what the leader of PAM should have done, was call a truce. Because here were Timothy lead him and Mark lead him. So right now, Sean not lead nobody but himself. Timothy lead him, who 7 years, and now Mark lead him. You hear? Mark only got CCM to fight. Mark only got NRP to fight in Nevis. That's why now he coming out and he hitting NRP hard. And trying to change the narrative in Nevis. Trying to get people all emotional about somebody keep something from Nevis down in a sink. And if you want to go back to the days of boning rice and pepper and soup and all them kind of damn foolishness. NRP only got 1 seat in the NIA and no seat in the federal. You got all 3, you got 4-1, but somehow you find it in your hearts to go out there and blame NRP for what is happening now because they ain't joined with you to abuse Timothy. Sean, on the other hand, has a very powerful, smart, and cunning politician in Timothy to fight. He may have the dirt on Timothy, mind you, to put out there. He may have the dirt, very well have the dirt. But what does that say about you? When did you know this? What do you know and when did you know it? That's going to be the question being thrown back at you. He also have now down here in St. Kitts to take on and contend with the largest single party in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. So you find yourself in a pickle fighting down in St. Kitts between two powerful parties. Well, not powerful. One powerful party and the other party with money can done. And you know elections are run by money. So you got two fight down here who go, Labour and PLP. Mark only got one. And you allow he to put you in a pickle. And still talk about the Douglas Labour and the Douglas this. You wash your mouth on Labour and Labour the only saving grace Sean got down here. Because Mark can't help him down here. Mark can't help him down here. Sean got to contend with Labour and PLP down here. So instead, Sean, exercise some kind of leadership and call a truce between himself and Labour to fight against PLP. He not do that. He up and down with the way you talk about how you abuse Labour. And how Dr. Joe in the way Labour. Me don't hear you. Me don't listen to everything. Pam strong in Sandy Point. Let me tell you something. The reason I can speak the way I do is because I listen to everything and everybody. Somehow you don't listen to nothing but all yourself. The only thing I don't listen to is Patches. I can't listen. I can't stomach that guy. That's the only thing I don't listen to. And he don't say nothing of substance, so teach me nothing. I could learn a thing or two from Mark. I could learn a thing or two by listening to Pam and their leaders. Me can't learn nothing at all from listening to Patches. So me don't listen here at all. Everything else, I listen to. I'm going to sit down and listen to Labour. I'm going to sit down and listen to PAM. I'm going to sit down and listen to CCM. I'm going to sit down and listen to NRP. I listen to everything. Every talk show that they're on, I listen to everything. Or you don't listen to nothing but all yourself. So when I speak from a place of authority because I hear it for myself. You hear? If Sean had come out and called a truce between PAM and Labour and worked together to fight against Timothy, I might just say, okay, he learning. But for the town hall meetings that they had, the string of town hall meetings that they had, that I tell them, stop. That I tell them, stop. They show the bam see. Because they want to abuse him, but still want to remind their supporters to rally together because we don't want Labour to sneak in the back door. Labour look like that sneak to you. Labour look like them a sneak to you. Labour look like them a sneak on a place to you. By Labour too big to sneak. When Labour roll out the place a rumble, the whole place a shake. How Labour going to sneak in back door? Labour will kick down that, but hey, Rastafari. But this is what they are quoted as saying. But that's not good politics. How you allow Mark to put you in a position like that? There? Mark only got one party to contend with over there that he done got the upper hand pan. So I'm saying to the NRP, come out. Don't allow Mark to control your narrative. Because of pure shit he talk. Sit down and listen to him and dissect the shit. Because that's what me do, you know. No matter where me be Rasta. On the mark, me sit down and me listen. And if me not listen live, I go back and I listen to everything what he say. So I could dissect it. So when I respond to what he say, I pull my constitution and I pull what he say. And I dissect what he say. Me no abuse him and talk about his shoes and he watch and all them kind of damn stupidness there. No. I dissecting what you say. So me and sit down and me and listen. Because that's the only how you could present a decent and proper rebuttal to anything that anybody say. You have to sit down and listen, and don't be triggered by the things that they are saying. Listen to it. See, me teach I things, I supposed to pay me who they say. I supposed to pay me who they say. What was saying? I supposed to pay me for them kind of advice, yeah. But don't worry. If it's for the betterment of my country, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Because money ain't all to me. You hear? I would like to get paid. I would like to get paid. But if I don't, that's okay. And if some people are some the better for it, no problem. I would say to the people of Nevis, and Butters are glad you're here. And I hope that more Sisia might too come here so we could have a better conversation. Void of the rah-rah. Hear me and hear me well, people of Nevis. Mark Brantley said to you guys, give him all 3 so he can go down to St. Kitts and bring back what belongs to Nevis. Over the course of 7 years, he increased the budgetary support. The budgetary support, if Mark was doing his job in the NIA, should have been decreasing, not increasing. And I'll tell you why. Nevis is responsible, the NIA is responsible for the economy of Nevis. The constitution that Sim Daniel makes sure that he carve out gave them that autonomy. So you are responsible for growing your economy. And I'll put this analogy to you. Your father sent you to school to learn your lesson, to learn a craft, to learn a trade, so that you can become a big man or woman and work for yourself. Over the years while you were a child, your father, hear me, your father was putting aside some monies for you. When you got to 18, your father had accumulated over a period of time some $50,000 for you in a savings account. Well, you want to tell me, you come a big man, you get a job, you responsible for your bills and your expenses, but you cuss hell out of your father because he not give you the $50,000 one time? Yes, it's yours. He's been saving it for you. But you have a responsibility as an adult to get yourself a goddamn job, make enough money to support yourself. So the $50,000 really and truly is gravy. The $50,000 is gravy. He put you to school. He paid all your expenses. And he got $50,000 there sit down for you as a backfall. Don't tell me that you're depending on the $50,000. Get up and go do some goddamn work. Get up and get a job. Because $50,000 could done, you know. You might could buy a nice pair of shoes. You might could pay rent for about a year. But what happened when the $50,000 done? Because money could done. No care how big money be. Money could done. Because we don't see some of the richest people in the world go broke. So let Mark Brantley fool are you? What is he doing about the economy in Nevis? What is he doing to secure Nevis's economy so that Nevis don't need budgetary support from St. Kitts? We don't want your budgetary support. What the hell you telling me? You could secure grants for yourself. You could go and create a non-tax revenue for yourself. Hear me and hear me again. If I was the Prime Minister, I'd give Mark Brantley the $1 billion. I love Nevis that much. So on that front, I could hold Timothy accountable. But you can't tell me that your only argument, but you want your fair share, you want your fair share, you want your fair share. And don't count Nevis money you. What? But what kind of garbage are they bring to people? So as long as Mark Brantley going to be in the NIA, he going to forever blaming somebody in St. Kitts for Nevis's failures? Not even Nevis's failures. His failures as a damn government and a premier? To generate some kind of thing in Nevis to get Nevis on a firm footing? Garbage. Garbage. You hear what he said about Timothy? He said Timothy is not no financial genius, even though he's been telling us for 7 years. Fiscal prudent management. Yes, sir. Now he come and tell Harry that Timothy is no financial genius at the CBI money. So you want to be the same damn well CBI money premier too? You don't want to be better than Timothy? You said Timothy ain't got no kind of financial genius. Surplus after surplus was a goddamn lie. It's the CBI money. So you don't want to come and be just like Timothy? You want to come and do me better? But anyway, let me leave you here because it's a waste of my time. I have my guests here ready and set to go. Oh, so gorgeous. Hallelujah. So people, we're going to take a little break here, and then when we come back, we're going to go live with our guest this morning, the very lovely and beautiful and charming and soft-spoken Marcia Henderson of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, the rah-rah politics, we have had enough of that. The flamboyant politicians who could speak so well and so eloquent and get a crowd all riled up, we have had enough of that. We want people who are community-oriented, who are people-oriented, who will go in and do the goddamn work. Because now that we have this shit show, it's exposing a lot of the inadequacies of these politicians. We need people who can actually go in, go work. All right? So people, stick around. We're coming right back. Don't go.
Hi, I am Marcia Henderson, the candidate for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party constituency number 2. Together, we can lift too. Why Marsha? Because I am ready to serve, and more than being ready, I am able, competent and able to serve. I am known as a fierce defender of my clients on a daily basis. I am known as a fierce representative, and I intend to bring that same energy to my community. Fortunately, more women are getting the opportunity to sit at the leadership tables. My party has opened up the doors for more women, and now is the opportune time for me to make my contribution to my party and to my community, to contribute to policies that affect women. We now get the opportunity to be a part of the decision-making process in relation to issues touch and concern us. So I think it's an opportune time for women and for me to come forward. Well, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party represents, for the 90 years we've been in existence, the empowerment of the masses and not the empowerment of a handful or the empowerment of a few. We have been known for not empowering the masses but empowering the working class, to the extent that the policies have transformed the working class into a bigger middle class. And so our party is known for empowering people, empowering the masses, and that resonates more with me than anything. My favorite color is black, and for me it represents strength, it represents courage, it represents power. My superpower is grace under pressure. The most amazing experience. It is a full-time job. It takes up everything, every single fiber of you, but I would not trade it. I absolutely love being Liam's mom. It's like no experience.
folks, we are back here on the flip side. And we have our gorgeous guest set and ready, Miss Marcia Henderson. St. Kitts Navy Stable Party. Hi, Marsha. How are you doing? All right, I got this. I got all the words coming from. Let me sort this out. Don't worry. All right. All right. We good to go? Can you hear me? I'm not hearing you though. All right, folks, just give us a quick minute. Let me just work out the logistics of this thing here so that we good to go. Yeah, sometimes this thing here just gets me all... Morning. For some reason, I am not getting my guest. Hello, morning. You got me? Still can't hear you. Make sure that your microphone is unmuted. And you look so nice this morning. Avex. All right, folks, we have just a little bit of a technical issues here. So we want to make sure that we good to go. Out again for me. Still not getting you. I don't know what is wrong with your microphone. Have absolutely no idea. All right, folks, let me take another break and then we'll come back and see if we can get this thing sorted out, because I really want to have a conversation with Miss Marcia Henderson, and we should. But you can. All right. Yes, I do. I can hear you now. Yes. All right. So let's go. Wow, that was all right. Marsha, morning.
Good morning, Ike.
Oh, praise his name.
How you do?
I am well. I don't know what happened this morning with my equipment, but we're good to go now. So once you're hearing me and I'm hearing you, I think the people are hearing you as well. Folks on the chat, if you're hearing us, well, give us a thumbs up. Let us know we're good to go. Sometimes that's how these technical things work. You know, I'm the host, I'm still the technical man, the cameraman, everybody in one. So that's how it works sometimes. So good morning, dear. How are you?
I am tired, tired but good. I'm not complaining.
As expected. Yes.
We're working hard.
That's how I want my politician to be tired. Because that simply means that you're doing the work.
Yes.
All right. So for those who are on the live right now who may not have had, and I think some people had an introduction to you as well, if you can just give us a brief insight as to who you are, your background, that kind of thing. Just very short and neat.
Okay, I'm an attorney at law by profession. Mm-hmm. I have been practicing for the past 18 years. My practice consists mostly of litigation. We have a non-contentious practice as well. I was born and raised right here in Central Bastille, in the communities of McKnight and M Street. I rep M Street, Market Street. I'm the mother of a 9-year-old boy. Uh-huh. And I think that sums me up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think, the next question would be, why politics? I mean, you seem like a very successful lawyer. Why politics?
Yes, and the truth is, I mean, I don't like to say it, but I never thought I would be in politics. Honestly, early on, I had no political ambition. But there's been a call for me to serve from the people of Central Bastille. And I thought long and hard, Ike. Long and hard. I prayed about it. I spoke with my family. And, I thought, what better way to give back to the community or the communities that molded and made me who I am today than to serve them. And so I answered the call, and I answered the call from the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. Yes.
All right. So what were some of your fears, though? Because you say you had to think long and hard. What were some of your fears about entering into elective politics?
Well, it's nasty. You live under the microscope. Mm-hmm. It is a huge task. It's an overwhelming undertaking. I mean, it changes your life completely. Mm-hmm. I am a laid-back type of person. Anybody who knows me, I am, the type that work and go home, go work and home again. Mm-hmm. That is going to be different. My fear in terms of politics, I don't have any fear. I don't think I have any fear. I just think I'm aware, very cognizant of the fact that it is a life-changing experience for the good sometimes. And it, I am up for it.
All right. Sounds good. So then, seeing that politics is so nasty, how would you deal with that? What style of politics can we expect from you?
Well, I am just here to serve the people of Central Bastille. Mm-hmm. I think we need to focus on issues, substance, and not the hype. as chronic is the substance overhype.
Rastafari.
We need to focus on more on the issues, the issues that affect our people, as opposed to, the dirty politics. Clean and focus on the tasks.
Right.
It's at hand.
All right. So, well, you say you grew up in Magnet, so I'm guessing that you basically, you're a mainstay in the community, people around there. But in terms of canvassing, from a political standpoint, how is that process going for you? What's the experience like?
Well, canvassing, I would say, is my strongest point. I am of the community. I am in the community, and I enjoy when we go out and meet the people on a daily basis. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming in terms of when you understand what people are going through, the difficulties and the hardship. But this is I enjoy this the most. The canvassing, going out, meeting the people, connecting to the people.
All right. So from canvassing, what are some of the issues that you come across that you think that we lack as a country, that you would have formulated, you would have seen and heard from the people? Well, what are some of the things that you have come up with to deal with some of these issues?
So there are a number of issues. On the top of the list is the lack of housing, or the lack of affordable housing, particularly in Central Bastia. Even those persons who, I know our party has done a lot in the past where we would have empowered people through land ownership. There are a lot of young professionals, a lot of young persons who have been allocated land and can't access financing. It's hard to get a mortgage. It's hard to qualify. And so we have persons who just have land and they can't afford to do anything with the land. And so housing comes out on the top of the list. The next thing is people are not working.
Right.
And I don't think this is peculiar or unique to Central Bastia. I think it's a national issue, but it also is an issue in Central Bastia. This administration has not done enough to generate economic activity, and this is even before the pandemic. And so a lot of persons I find in the community are dependent on the social programs like the Peace, like the PAP, like the STEP. And whilst those programs are needed, the persons in Central Bastia, a lot of them are not working. And that is, I would say, second on the list, the lack of jobs, the fact that we have not had economic activity. Nothing has happened within the last 7 years, honestly. We've had no investors who've come here, no real capital projects by the government. And so we have private businesses closing down. Kajola is going to close down in a few months.
Right.
Some of the other businesses in Paul Saltwell Industrial Park closed down. And so people are not employed. And so I would say jobs, lack of employment is the second thing.
All right. So then I guess my next question would be like, have you seen anything that you can, do differently in Central Bastia to provide housing? Because I've been throwing around this idea for the longest while, and it seems as though nobody seemed to pick it up. And this is what I have come across in my speaking with people. There are some people who say that they don't want to own any land or any kind of thing. They just want a nice studio apartment or a nice 2-bedroom high-rise apartment like you have in the metropolitan countries. And Magnet is one of those areas that you can consider a metropolitan because, the housings are already there. So what you would want to is to provide like what we have, something similar to what's on Baker's Corner.
Yes,
but
and better. Even though the Gardens housing community. Yeah.
Right. So the Gardens housing community, that's the example. So can we expect to see like more of that if you're elected? What are your plans for housing and, of course, the job creation?
Absolutely. So our Central Bastia is landlocked. There is no more land in Central Bastia. And our party has been talking about the urban revitalization of Central Bastille. That is not going to happen in a short term, in 5 years, or maybe not even in 10 years, where there are plans to uh, buy out some of the areas in Central Bastille and create housing there. Particularly, I think the areas that go from maybe Keon Street back to Fort Thomas Road. We are hoping to do some revitalization there as a party. That is long term, of course. A lot of people are saying they would want to stay in Central Bastille as opposed to, moving out. But projects such as the one in the Garden Housing and the one you referred to across on Wellington Road, those are, some housing projects and ideas that we are considering as well.
All right. So in terms of jobs and economics, you have any ideas on how to deal with that?
Well, clearly, it would, from a government standpoint, we would need to get investors to come back. And I think our party, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, investors have shown confidence in our party. And I am sure once we are returned to government, we would see investors coming back to our shores. And what that just means, jobs would be there for our people, including the people of Central Bastille. I know there was some discussion as well in relation to a program that we have discussed where persons, coming out of schools or persons who apply for work would be attached to different private entities for even a year. And it is something that the government would undertake, almost like an apprentice for a short period of time, just to create jobs and stimulate some economic activity.
All right.
But
all right. Now,
major thing is getting investors back to our shores.
That's all. All right. So investor confidence, of course, that would be tantamount to getting a government that is stable.
Absolutely.
Right. The other thing I want to speak to you on is the issues to do with gender. And of course, when you speak of gender, you speak to the fears of women, things that are going on with women. From canvassing, have you found any issues that stand out for you that women on a whole face currently right now in this atmosphere that we're in?
Yes. When we canvass, we have met a lot of single mothers in particular, and the issues that affect them. The same issues of housing, affordable housing, not being able to, provide for their families. I have not seen any real gender-based issues in terms of inequality in Central Bastille particularly, but I think that's more on a national level. But the issues that arise in relation to gender are more so in relation to single mothers. The fact that they may not be getting adequate help for their children, having to take the fathers to court for maintenance. Some of them speak about the minimum wage. Most of them work for minimum wage and asking for us to consider maybe increasing the minimum wage, which we have already considered as a party. So,
well, are you going to couple that with any form of training? Because minimum wage, it comes into effect when people lack certain skills and they lack certain educational accolades. So are you going to couple the increase in minimum wage with some form of training?
Absolutely. It depends on where persons are working, but that is something that we will consider as a party.
All right. So the gardens, when you hear about the gardens, you think of the Spurs, right? Yeah. So I want to get your thoughts on sports development in your constituency. What are your plans for sports?
Well, we are considering, and we've discussed on the platform, the improvement of the green areas particularly in Central Bastia, down at the gardens, and maybe, considering additional spaces where our people can go out. So we have down in the gardens, I think we have a basketball court, a netball court, and the football field, of course, and even cricket. The tennis court is also on the back. It is not utilized as much, and I think we have considered improving the space down at the gardens and considering other areas in Central Bastia up in New Road and Shadwell. In terms of sports, I know there's been discussion to encourage our young people to get involved in more sporting activities, and so we would create more programs, particularly for those persons in schools to to be involved in. So I think that would be a help, and maybe an encourage get young people more involved in sports as opposed to considering other activities that are
Not so favorable.
geared towards crime.
I hear you. All right, so you touched on crime, and we know for a very long time that crime has been an issue.
Yes.
There are programs to combat that, the policing and whatever, the whole piece and 9 yards. But that's just the now generation. Do you have any plans to put other programs a little bit earlier to deal with risk, kids who are at risk from an early age, like in the primary schools, the secondary schools, and that kind of thing? Have you thought about anything like that?
Well, sporting, just as we were discussing just now, sports is one of the areas that we're considering, and not only in Central Bastia, but on a national level as well. We've considered the mentorship program where we are going to attach or put young people with persons in the community that they can be mentored. That should help and keep them focused. Those are some of the things we've considered in terms of, steering young persons away from, criminal activity. There's the issue of the peace. I know it's a sensitive topic, but what I can say is that we're going to build on the program. We are going to restructure the program and improve the program. Make sure the program is transparent, and that should help as well with the issue of crime and making our young people a little more productive.
Right. Well, the peace program itself, as you say, it's a very controversial topic, but these are things that people really and truly need to talk about, and they need to hear what the politicians' positions are on this important topic, the peace program. You mentioned transparency. That is severely lacking, and so we need that. You said you would make it transparent. But overall, what are your thoughts on the peace program itself? And other than transparency, what are some of the things that you would consider doing different with this program? And I know it's a very ticklish thing, so but I still need to know. The people still need to know, because what is happening out there is that people are saying that if this party comes in, they're going to shut it down, and so from your standpoint.
Well, like I said, we are not going to finish away with the peace program. It is one of the social programs that we see it has been working. Like I said, it needs restructuring, and it needs to serve. I think it needs to be a lot more transparent for now. From what I can observe, I think it's just certain persons who have been maybe charged or been accused of some sort of criminal offense. They're the ones who are benefiting from this particular program. But there are persons who might be able to benefit, like the victims, those who've left children behind, the mothers, persons who are dependent on some of the victims, the deceased. So I think we need to consider who the beneficiaries would be of the program. That's one thing. Secondly, as it is now, I think there are no deductions for Social Security from this program. I think they're working and they're being paid. From what I understand, the beneficiaries are working and then they're paid, but then there are no deductions for Social Security. So years down the road, they may not be able to benefit from a pension, or they may not be able, if they're sick, to benefit from sick leave, the payments that come out of the Social Security Fund. If they're severed, then they can't benefit either, because there are no deductions made. And I think, to me, that is a big injustice to the persons who are, on the program. So that is one of the things I know we will consider as well. So it's the structuring in terms of who benefits, how they're paid, because I understand a certain amount is budgeted, 41 million, I think, if I recall correctly. And I also understand that is not the full amount spent on the actual program. But overall, I just think the program needs to be more transparent. It needs to be more structured, and it needs to serve all who is concerned, not just certain persons.
All right. Well taken. Thank you so much for that. Now, I want to shift gears now and go over to the judiciary.
Yes.
Because you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
And recently we have heard that the court was shut down because of mold. Yeah. I myself on occasion had to go to the Sir Llewellyn Moore Judicial Complex, and while I was sitting waiting for my case to be called up, a number of lawyers would have passed, and they complained bitterly about how the court system is structured. The lack of efficiency, the lack of this, the lack of movement. It just needs a complete overhaul. Now, you're a lawyer yourself, so you work within the court system. So can we expect a change in how our court system is set up, the inner workings of it? I don't want to go too deep into detail, but have you thought about it?
Well, how the court functions is those things are mandated from the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. So it's not a government issue per se. The court is funded by the governments of the region, but those things in terms of how the court functions, that comes from headquarters. Our headquarters for the court is based in St. Lucia. So the High Court and the Magistrates Court fall under the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Now, whilst I say that, the persons who work in the court and who serve in the courts, sometimes the issue is not necessarily the court's headquarters, but it is the persons who manage the court. Without saying that too much, sometimes. So in terms of what I can do or what my party can do when we're in government, we won't be able to do much, because a lot of things come down from, who's appointed as our registrar, who is appointed as the land registrar, those things, and how they manage and execute their duties.
I had absolutely no idea about that.
As
I didn't know.
What you didn't know?
That the appointments come from here, there, and everywhere, and
yes.
Okay.
And so it's not from government per se. The government can make recommendations,
right? But
the appointments do come from there. So we can, in terms of our part, we can make recommendations, but magistrates, the registrars are appointed by the court, and I think it's the this organization in St. Lucia as well that works with the court.
Okay.
And so I think a lot of times it's the people we may need to improve and make sure we have persons who serve at the court or even at the registries. We have to make sure we have persons who understand that they're working and that they need to know how to speak to people. Being in
Right.
the house, learn
Mhm.
some we need persons who can learn to deal with people.
Right. So customer service. That's the
Exactly.
that's what I wanted to get to. The customer service. Because you hear everybody complain about how people are spoken to at the court when you go there to do business.
Yeah.
And I think that lends to the ease of doing business, because if you're going to do business, obviously you have to have some kind of legal interaction, to get whether your business license up, your registration, that kind of thing. You have to go to the court. So in terms of the ease of doing business, and you're a business person yourself, so have you had any thoughts on that? Any policies that you could implement to get our people up to that level?
Yeah, so we as a party as well, and in our manifesto, well, that is going to come out shortly. We
Mhm.
are going to digitalize or make the civil service documents in terms of applying for documents and uh, even stuff at the registry, talking the registry of births, deaths, and marriages, even applying for a passport. Those things are going to be
Mhm.
done digitally as opposed to going in, standing up outside on a sidewalk and filling out a form. And I think that would make doing business a lot easier, where you
Mhm.
can just go onto your computer and apply. You can go on there and apply for a license, whether it's a business license. And so those things are things we are going to be doing once we go into government. It's a part of our manifesto. I think that is one of the major ways in which doing business would be easier. Um, Another thing is, I think, is making sure that the ministries are linked. So if you go to Inland Revenue and you
Mhm.
need to get something from finance, you don't have to walk from Church Street and go down. They said, take this and take it down to Inland Revenue. It's just making sure that the ministries and the different departments are in sync.
Right. So increase the digital footprint of the government and
Yeah.
make it more efficient. Thank you so much for that. I've been longing for the day that a politician would speak to these kind of things and just give a real sense of how we can improve, because sometimes you go in the office, somebody grab a big book, one of them big old time ledger,
And the leaf dropping out, or the,
and then you see some dust mites across the leaf. I mean, we need to move away from this kind of thing,
yeah,
and
and we're in 2022, and
Mhm.
so we're way behind.
So we need to improve on that,
And
definitely.
even the healthcare system. I mean, when we had COVID, I was so surprised that I could have gotten my COVID card, a digital copy of it. But if
Right.
you need a medical record now, you still have to go up and search a book, and it
Hmm.
takes 6 weeks before it can be prepared, and somebody else has to sign it. But if we could have digitalized and gotten the COVID card, you could have gotten a digital copy of the COVID card. We could do much
Right.
better than that.
And you didn't have to get what you call a stamp. What's up with this stamp thing?
With stamp.
Like
Or you
you
mean you have to go to the post office, buy
and buy stamps and till
box?
today.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah. So
you're a lawyer. What's up with this stamp story? Like,
well, the
what
stamps
does it
is
do?
you have to pay for them, and that's how the government makes money. But
Oh,
once you pay monies into the post office, those that is a
oh,
form of generating income for.
revenue.
So
Hmm.
everything we do, you need a stamp for a police record, a birth certificate, to do a search at the court, a passport. But if
Hmm.
we have the system digitalized, we could have e-commerce attached as well, where you just use your card and it's right there.
Make your transactions as opposed to walking up and down and tugging this
Get
hot
a step
sun.
down post office, then walk down the health center, then walk up the police station, then go back to government headquarters. So I think that would make a big difference in terms of how we do business and making it more efficient.
Sounds pretty good. All right. We have 10:34. We're almost out of time. I don't want to keep you too long because you said you're tired. And I know you probably got your own personal work to do. Then you're gonna go on canvas later on again.
Yeah.
So overall, I would just want to ask you this finally. From your own personal standpoint, what it is you think that you bring to the table, to the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, and to the people of St. Kitts ultimately, and why should the people of Central Bastia vote for you?
No, I have in the last 18 years, I've dedicated my life to serving persons as a lawyer, and I'm known, if you ask anybody, or most persons would say, I'm a fierce defender of all my clients. I do it with every fiber in me. I don't back down and me afraid nobody.
Okay.
That is the same energy I intend to bring to the people of Central Bastia. Proper representation. I would be their voice. I think I've been the voice for my clients for the past, and efficiently and effectively so, for the past 18 years. And that is what I want to bring for the people of Central Bastia, to be their voice in Parliament, to be their voice in Cabinet, and to make sure that they get the representation that they deserve, proper representation.
So we don't expect that when you go into government, you're going to roll around in your Jeep, your windows up, nobody could talk to you.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
All right. So, Marsha, I want to thank you again for taking this time out of your busy schedule to come and chit chat with us just a little bit, so that the people on the platform could get a sense of who you are personally, see what your energy is, see what you're about. And so we want to thank you so much for that. All the best in your canvassing. Keep doing what you're doing. I understand that you're not the limelight kind of person. You prefer to work on the ground, and I truly appreciate that.
On the grounds with the people.
Right.
But if you would let me plug something we're having tonight in Central Bastia. We are supporting our small businesses in Central Bastia, and tonight we're going to be by Zigvi's, I think Ziggy and Vi, Zigvi, which is next to the constituency office there on Central Street. We're going to be on the block, with the comrades. All are welcome. We're going to have food and drinks on sale, so we're going to be supporting Ziggy. We start at 7 o'clock. We're going to have music as well and good camaraderie. So I want to take this opportunity to invite those listening to come on down and join us. Let's sit and chat and have fun and support Ziggy and Vi.
All right. Well, Miss Marcia Henderson, thank you so much. It was a quick, nice, neat, and informative and very grounded chat. And this is what I want to see from our politics going forward. So I thank you and I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me as well, Ike.
All right. Have a great day, dear.
You too.
All right. So yes, people, that was Miss Marcia Henderson, and of course she'll be running, as we say here affectionately, in constituency number 2, Central Bastia. As we were having the conversation, I got a message from a good buddy of mine, and he was saying, why does she use the word consider? I mean, no decision was made on it yet. My Lord, let me say this to you, right? The word consider is not a bad word. It simply means that you have seen, you have heard, you have assessed, and you have a plan. And it means that there has been discussion about it. So they have considered a number of things. That says to me that they understand what's going on the ground. Can you hear what she said? the two major issues that she has found in her constituency: housing and jobs. And that is what she's focusing on. So it shows you. Don't get caught up and hang on to one word. You understand? She still has to be elected and still have to go into cabinet. And so you hear that the young lady is saying she's a fierce defender of her people and her clients. So which means she's going into cabinet with plan to consider all these things that she touched on: the job, the sports, the housing, and of course, the youth. You heard it for yourself. Don't get caught up in one word. You hear? Don't fool yourself. I don't want to sound like a campaigning for Labour, but trust me, Labour has always been the party about the upward movement of people, the socio-economic improvement of people's lives. It is clear to see. Barring the latter rah-rah and the latter noise for political semantics, it has always been. And that is why I, coming from Sandy Point, out of a palm house, took a serious look at the ideology of the political parties in St. Kitts and Nevis, took a look at their history, and made my decision as to my political preference. Has nothing to do with the politician and how nice they talk and all these kind of things. Because some people who could talk well in public, put them to do a job, and you see what we have. So I am not about politicians right now at this point, because I've had enough of that. Politicians who come and speak well and enunciate and pronunciate and have you feeling all good. And then when you look around, you say, me ask for nothing to do. Nothing to do. So all this talk, what happened? Nothing to do. And then you look over there and you see somebody over there become a millionaire, and you like, well, what the hell going on here? But he talks so good on the platform, make me feel so good. What happened? I do not want no smooth talking, fancy talking politician going on. I have had enough of that. May not about you, but I have had enough of that. We have politicians who speak very well and eloquently in the public sphere. They can represent anywhere in the world. They can go and talk shows and television shows and speak well on the issues. Their presentation is very lofty and eloquent, very concise and precise. But when they don't talk, that's it. When they don't talk, that's it. Not a damn thing sure. And we still back at square one. We still have the very same issues that we've been having for the longest while. But we have politicians who talk well and dress well and present themselves well. No. I fed up of that. Fed up. I have had enough of that. I want politicians now who going over work. You understand? Who gonna go out and work. Put in the work. That is what I want going forward from our politicians. Trust me. Somebody said don't talk and work. Of course. Somebody said echoing again. Hold on there. I still an echo? Da-da-da-ba-ba-da-boom. Are good now? Hey, trouble. Somebody said they miss. Yeah. All right. I think the echoing should have been solved. Yeah, we good to go now? All right. So, yeah. Yeah, you see what happens The program, what it does, when it zooms in somebody, right? What you have to do is that the zoom in section, he got the mix and minus, and he just takes all the audio and put it in that, and then just sends it into. It's a kind of complicated kind of kind of thing. So sometimes it takes a while to switch back over. What I should have done was to come in with me intro and make the switch back over. Like I tell you, it's me one here, it's me one doing all of this, putting up the splashes and the icons, making the switch to the camera. I doing the whole thing from right here. And you know, we need politicians who got some sense of the pulse of what's going on in the world and on the ground, and so that they can present plans and programs that would positively affect the people of the country. If you're going in there, you don't have a plan. If you're going there, you don't listen to the people. I have had 2 politicians on this show so far, and I'm impressed with them. Marcia Henderson from the NRP was the first one, the first politician on this show. And you heard from him, from his own mouth, that he goes in to listen to what people are saying. And I got goosebumps. I tell you why I got goosebumps. Because the other was making a rant. And I was saying, when you don't jump up with your politician, when you don't abuse off somebody with your politician, defending your politician, what is your salary like as compared to the cost of living? When you don't abuse somebody for a politician, when you don't jump up with your politician and rally, oh, I love my politician, I am this for life and that for life. When you go to the hospital, is your health care top notch? Do you have to sit down in the waiting room while a nurse is in front of you with her head in a book? Because she's not being treated well, she's probably overworked, and so she's just doing the bare minimum because the administration is not treating her properly. And then you have to wait 3 hours for a doctor to become available. When you don't jump up with your politician and you bring in something up the port that could help you become an entrepreneur, you have to pay 2.76 or something like that for the product. Ship it to St. Kitts. When it comes to St. Kitts and Nevis, you have to buy it back out of customs. And then you started, oh, customs this and oh, customs that. Stop abuse customs. These tariffs are set by the government. Customs is just the agency that execute their constitutional mandate. You hear? So when you don't jump up with your politician and you got to go buy back a piece of equipment that could help you make some money, because no policy in place for you, a small business. There's no concession that is automatically given to you, a small business. This is what I'm talking about. When you don't leave the constituency office, when you don't leave the rally, when you don't leave the politician by the bar, and you go back to your real life, these are the things that are affecting you. Your electricity bill, the cost of gas, the cost of food, the cost of health care, the cost of this, the cost of that. Everything else around you going up and your salary staying the same. So this is why I want politicians who listen to the people, the bread and butter issues, and go back and put policies in place to make it better. So that's why I got goosebumps when the man say that he goes in and he listens. Because people in the house are suffering in silence, but they don't want nobody know that they're for the party who will keep them in a sufferation. Carrie says, EKC Sandy Pointer said, Drew, I focus on health care too much. I never hear so much stupidness in my life. I saw the comment. But I don't play with that person there no more. Let me tell you why I don't play that person no more. Because sometimes some people that pass off themselves as being objective. But if you sit down long enough and you read what they type and you follow the pattern, you see the true self. When I saw that person make this review, Dr. Joe focus too much on healthcare. He need to focus on becoming the next prime minister. How the fuck me not hear you, bye? What? Team Unity got the mental space of people in the country so up that them attack garbage. So the leader of a party must now campaign to become the next prime minister, as opposed to addressing the issues that people on the ground faced in. You see how they have polluted hold on, there's somebody messaging. Yeah, some music, buddy. I need to answer this message here. Yeah, so we have become so by what the word I'm looking for by bamboozled by the politics of the day. Your focus supposed to be fixing the issues that the most vulnerable are facing. So you exalted to prime minister. Okay. Congratulations. But Miss Mary can't get she medication because she medication ain't available. Mr. John, who worked so hard for this country and become the ripe age of 65 where he retire, he now got to be going out there and begging people because his foot get amputated and he not had the right things in place to look after him. Do we have a national policy for our elders? All these politicians talk about we elders and my elder friend from over and Miss Jan from down a Boyview and Miss Harry from upper Hilldale and all kind of thing. But do we have a national policy that looks after our elderly people? And especially those who weren't making thousands of dollars, who was on pension, social security, and still get a big contract for the government for $12,000 a month. What about those people who are working for minimum wage for years? They now get the little social security, and they now need medical care that their social security can pay for. Do we have a policy in place to take care of them? It's not going to be for everybody, but for those who are making a certain amount of money, a certain threshold. So don't tell me that your politician just avoid to become prime minister and healthcare now look after. Dr. Patrick Martin said to me that in the past 2 years, and this is how you gauge just how good your healthcare is, by how much children died. 1 year we had 8, the next year we had 10. And given our population, it's just 10. Well, that's 10 too much. Where are we on healthcare and accessing healthcare? So, Dr. Joe, continue to campaign pan healthcare. No campaign to become no damn prime minister. Campaign to look after healthcare. It needs looking after. The same time Timothy said he spent $30-something million in healthcare. Rainfall and the hospital up there flood out. Nurse hardly everybody up there map. But the speech was a good speech though. we have spent $30-something million in healthcare. Very good, Mr. Prime Minister. I got goosebumps when you announced that. And as luck would have it, rainfall, and you see a video and a picture with nurse, hardly everybody up there map the floor. Cardi hospital flood out. So it was a good speech. I applaud my PM for that. But the hospital flood out. And then couple weeks later, I get a message in WhatsApp. Somebody who I grew up with, sick, don't have the money to access the healthcare. The healthcare isn't available here. You have to fly out to get it. And while waiting for funds to come in, the man dead. So now all the money that he collected so far for his procedure, his medical procedure, had to be used to bury him. And some smart person is going to post on social media, Dr. Joe campaigned too much on health care. He need to campaign to be Prime Minister. I don't know why some people just don't stay away from social media. Just like Senator Wendy Phipps said, social media has it good and it has it bad. You hear? But some people like, me no. Me no buy. Then, when Akila came out and said that they have all these equipment at the hospital, then we see some pictures come out with the equipment. Okay. That's good. That's great. But people's stories are still their stories. Coming out and defending something. Okay, I went to the hospital and I got this treatment. That was not available. Instead, the papi show them come out and, well, we apologize for your experience. How can we help so that this doesn't happen again? No. They jump on the media and say, we have this and we have that and that is not true and way and rah, rah, rah and boom, 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 boom. It's like these people, they're not saying, how can we help? How can we insult you? Look the situation where two people passed away, back to back. The families say this was their experience. But the chief of staff come on and say, they were traumatized by the experience and the trauma somehow impaired their judgment. We have done the investigation and we have found, but it is not true, but our investigation is not completed. There's a tie up yourself. You come make a press release and make yourself like a damn papi show. That's why I had to keep calling you out. And that's why you turn around and you try to sue me. And then go on party show go try to talk about how I'm going to donate the monies to a student to study journalism. Partner, you sound so damn stupid. what subjects, what classes have we got in high school that is geared towards sending children into journalism? You tell me. We education system now reached a level there yet that from high school you could know that you want to be a journalist. And it fall flat. Can nobody study that and nobody study you? Your speeches were garbage. Every last one of them. Garbage. I done say so. And funny enough, a doctor stepped to me and said, EK, man, you should let that go because, he has saved so many lives when we don't save life too. Every single day me get a message in my phone, somebody saying, my lad, I was this close to giving up on my own life. I was this close to giving up. I don't really like to talk about these experiences, but sometimes you have to say things so that people could understand. So because he got doctor in front of him, me not got a doctor in front of me name. And because somebody bust down their foot and you stitch it up and you make them good, okay, boom. You save their lives. Every single day, I get messages from people who said they were this close to giving up. During the pandemic, the amount of times I had to leave the comfort of my bed to go to somebody to try to convince them not to commit suicide. So because I don't talk about these things openly, a doctor trying to convince me that I mustn't say certain things about a doctor because he does save lives. My partner me does save lives too. A lot of you on here who on the live right now, they message me and say, my lad, you don't get me through me day. And some cases are very extreme. It's more than 2 occasions I had to leave my bed during the pandemic in the middle of the night to go and speak to young single mothers who were ready to give it all up. Me I got to my own quandary too. Me got my own demons to deal with. Me got a life too. And got to go and convince people to hold on just a little bit longer. It won't last forever. Just hold on a little bit longer. If you go and kill yourself, what's going to become of your child? If you gone, who going to look after your baby? You ain't want to see your baby grow up. So just like how them save life, me save life too. Not because the person no crash, and not because the person no get a gunshot. So just because I got doctor in front of me name, I can't question nothing what they say, but they could question what me say. Oh, I see. Maybe that's the way they got doctors and pep. Because you're only good for certain people. Sometimes I hate to talk like this, because I don't do these things for praise or whatever it is, accolades or whatever. I just do it because that's just me. That's the person my mother and my grandmother raised me to be. You think I can talk about all the time I save people from going debtors jail? Even though I got my own bills them to pay? You think me can't talk about them thing there? You think me can't talk about how much time people going up the radio station? Anyway, let me not go down the road there here because if I give you some stories, right, all your head rise. That's why Share the Live could have go on Facebook and talk about I need to go and service my loan on Development Bank. Because sometimes you got to choose between paying your own bills and helping somebody. I'm not going to say it. And if the person works at the damn business, mean okay, but I don't do it. I was about to go and pay Development Bank $2,500 for my sound system. That was the monthly payment. I had the $2,500 in my hand, ready to go and go pay the bank. I just made a quick stop somewhere in Hosford's Value Mart parking lot. And somebody came to me and said, I need your help. I ran into some problems. Things ain't good with me right now. And if I don't pay this money, I go in jail. And I don't have anybody to look after me children them. The $2,500 that I had to go pay for my sound system, that's not a problem. I'm going to lend you the money. I took out the money and I gave them $2,000 because that is what they needed to go and pay. $2,000. And I hold back the $5,000. And that's just one. And I'm going to do it because I so well wanted to be a hero or whatever. But from the time the person said, me ain't got nobody to look after me children them if I go jail, I didn't stop to think, oh, well, you should have managed your finances properly. You should have got your savings. Because people got through tough times in life. Whether it was a lie or it wasn't a lie, I don't know. The person pay me back eventually. I don't know. But from the minute I hear children, me no want to hear nothing else. From the minute I heard children, that's it for me. That's my weakness. I don't know if the person was telling lie, I don't know. I really don't know. But I give them the sugar cake. And these are experiences that I go through on a daily basis. Not because we don't talk about them. Sense she stories them too. Enough times we up the radio station, somebody caught them and say, bye. You know, we just get a sugar cake for producing an ad. We ain't even put the cash in my pocket. And somebody come want assistance for something. Go ahead. And I say all of that to say, we all have our own niche that we bring to society. None better than none. But if you are going to put yourself up as a public servant, as a public figure, you got to realize that some scrutiny is going to come with it. So if you don't want it, stay out of the limelight. Don't go in front of the camera, don't go in front of the mic. If you think that you are above reproach just because you have doctor or PhD or et al. To your name, once you come in front of one of these and you make utterances, you must be open to some form of criticism. People that criticize me all the time. Look Pam whatever his name, Pam Strong, from Sunny Point. Look, he come here. And look how I responded to him. Me no call him out of his character. Me no abuse him. As people that say me to do. I stated my facts. I might have did it forcefully, but I stated my facts. You understand? So if me call you out on something that you say, how is that abusing you? How is that abusing you? And this is why I do what I do. To show people that there's a different way. Me not go tell you about your mother and how much man you got and how much woman you got and all them things if you don't agree with me on a political level. You said what you said, and I come with my rebuttal. That is the end of that. We laugh it off, we move on. But some people want to take it to a different level. I could never, ever, ever in life respect that man again. Ever. Ever. Not he. Because during the process of trying to get my defense together, the amount of stories that I got, the amount of evidence that I end up with, if that they got to court and all this evidence came out, my God. My God. The amount of people who lined up to say, look, I have a testimony coming courts. If that they come to light, my God. Okay. I tell her I left me now. Left me now. Okay. We're going to wrap up now. I'm not sure if we have enough time to take any phone calls, but let's see. Somebody says hi. Well, Danica, there are times when we have to lend a helping hand. Watch right. Sometimes I end up broke because I help people, and it didn't bother me. I mean, I know where my money coming from, so it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so I think we can wrap up for today. We had a good conversation. Next week, we're having more politicians. More politicians have reached out while I was here. One reached out and said, yes, I would definitely love to come on and have this conversation. And that is all that we want, a conversation. Not you over there shouting up by yourself. Come and defend your position. We might got a telephone call. You was story this. So let me see if we could get this person here up on the board. Hold a second there, please. Let me get you up on to the boards. Hey, this intro here is so sexy, right? Hello, good morning.
Morning, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What about you?
But I'm here. We just got to be strong, okay? Everybody got the testimony. Everybody know. God can continue blessing you. God can continue blessing both of us.
Indeed.
That's just the way. You know, something about something. I said, this man and I sent a lady a post, a lady. And she sent back to me. Nobody did not send it to you. And she sent back to me and she said to me, where you don't find these posts? You don't go to church. You're not a Christian, but I don't want she had every day.
Right.
My neighbor yesterday sent me a message. She said the message is mainly for women, but she thinks I deserve that message. EK, we have a lot to give. We've been put here for a reason. And I sit and I think about it all the time. We've been put here for a reason, EK. And let us continue doing what we're doing. I was happy to listen to Marsha today. And yesterday I went to a Father's Day meeting at the Dr. William Connor Primary School. EK, I was happy to see the amount of fathers. See, somebody gets a wake-up call. But they did turn out in the numbers. And I want to say thanks to the Dr. William Connor School for coming up with the idea and inviting us to. And upon a fact, we're supposed to be having a Father's Day dinner. Luncheon for the fathers next week, Friday. So if you can be interested, maybe you could go there and have a little lunch.
Sure, no problem.
Support this school.
I was being busy, no help for anything.
Yes, well, I'm going to invite you to that. Because I'm going to be the one making the macaroni pie. You know, I like to do a little cooking.
See that?
So, yes, because that's the first thing the teacher say. Well, make sure, Curtis, make sure you make me macaroni pie. Because the army doesn't get to the school. So,
Right.
I'm going to make the pie. And yes, continue doing what you're doing, my brother. I know it's from the bottom of your heart. You know, we're not looking for pay, we're not looking for anything. You came to love. And you said something today when you said that when the person tell about the children, he came and gave a story. I remember some years ago I delivered a speech to Stadlers. Sadler's. It was a Saturday afternoon. And you know, when it comes to Saturdays, I got my kids. The lady called me back in the night. You can remember she had 3 children there. I just something went with the fridge. The stove, probably she couldn't get the light. He can said to the lady, Miss, give me a minute, let me take care of my children. He can jump on his scooter and I went to Sadler's. Me said to the woman, me now walk, I don't walk. Because after really she had children walk by, tomorrow is Sunday, Monday, she don't have to, the children will eat something to eat. You can just do every setup. We just the things we don't think. So when we hear about children, we're going to give it real heart. My brother, enough love, continue doing what you're doing. Have a blessed day.
Got this there? I think we drop out, you know. Hello? All right. I wasn't hearing that very well. All right, folks. Yeah. So I got a message and somebody says, Ike, continue the show. I think Curtis dropped out, you know, because I wasn't hearing him for a while. Oh, my God. All right. So, folks, I apologize for that. Beats Queen says, Ike, birthday coming up Tuesday. You want me to sing for you? What story this? Oh boy, I turn into this big singer now. What a calamity. Yeah, so if you guys want to do a few telephone calls, we could definitely do that. If you want to know the number, here's the number. Saw a post here, you know. Let me see if I could find it. They say SKN mashup. Sean got some good information and patches regarding the second peer, but it will also implicate Tim and Concy. Oh my God. Watch, right? Like I said to all you, I want this thing here to drag out, drawn out, and go the full distance. I want to hear all the juicy details. You hear? All. Got this?
Yo.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing you there. So, if you could finish.
I didn't finish.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Well, you get quick though. I would like to know. I want to wish the People's Action Movement a happy birthday. 10th of June. You know what happened the 10th of June 1967. This must not go away. Because again, the People's Action Movement lied to us. Remember Kennedy Alphonse Simmons had banned the books in this country when they were selling in media. And they said it didn't happen. Michael Powell's car was full of guns. Since it didn't happen, why when Simmons was living in a villa, he took the salute when they had a parade? There goes Pam again, 1967. They swear to God that it did not happen, Ike. And when the books came out, they banned the books. Freedom FM have a clip with a man from Anguilla speaking about it. And stop the truth. And the People's Action Movement will tell us who the man was buried down at Lankeel. We get killed in the gas station right here. And who walked way down Lankeel and died. He gets a lot of history. He keep lying to this country for the longest time, you know. They keep doing it. I remember I had Edinburgh scoping some years ago over something he said. And when they went and the Edinburgh, you know, you're going to do research. Using Hamilton and all of them, and when everybody come back with the evidence. These people constantly lying to the nation. 1967, 10 years did not happen. But yet, the books are there, and then winners are speaking. I want to wish them a happy birthday because they know the story. They know the story. Michael Paul is alive. Kennedy Alphonse Simon is alive. Sylvie Henry is alive. She knows the story. My brother, have a good day again. Happy birthday to the people's absolute moment.
Have a blessed day, sir. But I remember my days on Good Morning St. Kitts Nevis, you know, boy, them people had me to kill. I remember my good friend, my mother friend said, boy, you gave us a lot of licks during the elections. Just by talking about your history and where you came from, and what you did, what you said. That's licks. Okay, cool. All right, so if we don't have any more telephone calls, well, I guess we can wrap it up for today. And I'll see you guys on Island Rhythms at 3 o'clock. I don't know what kind of mood I'm going to be in this afternoon, but I'm definitely going to have myself some breakfast now, even though it's almost lunch. But thanks again for the support, people. And, you know, thanks for always, you know, lending your support in whatever way you can. Somebody just messaged and said, "Boy, put up your ADM, your cash up and so I get a lot of us." See there. Wow. Sometimes I forget, you know, because I don't really do this thing here for sugar cake, you know. But I want the politician to pay some money. Because they're going to get rich. So them me talk to. Me not talk to the regular people and let the politicians pay some money, make a lot of money. You understand? They want to push their agenda, they got to pay the sugar cake. But you know, for the ordinary people, I mean, I do it because I'm fed up, really and truly, of how politics been going for the longest while. And if I could do what I could do to bring people to a certain level, that when these politicians come to you, you sort them out. I can do it. You understand? But since my friend said put it up, see it there. Cash App, see it there. PayPal, see it there. Somebody said I should put my mobile banking too, but it is what it is. I don't know. If you want to advertise, if you have a small business and you want your poster flash while we here, send me a poster. You got my number, 663-2354, and we flash it up on the screen. You know, give you a little big up. It's we for we, you know. Because if we don't support each other and help each other, how we gonna progress? Is we gotta help ourselves. God, most of these politicians only come about when their job on the line. Otherwise, than that, you can't find them, you can't see them. Still I see, you know. But anyway, to God be the glory. So, folks, I am going to leave you now and get myself some breakfast and get a little bit more rest. And then I'll see you guys this afternoon at 3 o'clock for some Island Rhythms. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. Bye-bye.